What up, y'all? How are y'all doing? Hopefully, you're doing amazing. I have some extras in the background. They're playing basketball. So if you hear some boys screaming, I don't know what they're doing to each other on the court, but they're playing basketball, okay? But anyways, I was coming on here to talk about there was a guy that made a comment the other day and he was talking about just like love and relationships and different things like that. I want to speak about that. But first, I want to share with y'all my little note from the fortune cookie I just had because it's kind of cute and kind of funny considering what I'm about to talk about. Okay. So, my little fortune thingy says the best mirror is often an old friend. The best mirror is often an old friend. That's what it says. Can't see it, but it's cute, right? Cute. Um, so I think the gist of what Buddy said, because I didn't say the video, I don't know why I didn't, but I think the gist of what Buddy was talking about was basically just like why relationships are so hard. And I was thinking about it a little bit yesterday, but then I was also thinking about it today. And three different scenarios from the Bible came up to me. So one of them, of course, is Abraham and Sarai. And the interesting thing I like about their relationship is just the fact that when you read through it and you see that Abraham and Sarai were kind of like close and clan or whatever, right? And so he didn't really have to go too far to get Sarai, all right, or Sarah. Lady came Sarah, Sarai, okay. And there's also a time in the Bible where um Sarai gives him Hagar because he wants a child, right? So she moved ahead of God or whatever. But in a moment where they were having a disagreement, God told Abraham to listen to his wife. And in that example, I think the interesting part is so often, sometimes we feel like we have to go all around the world to find your partner, right? Like your partner could literally be in the same community, maybe the community next door, right? Abraham and Sarai were in the same clan. They weren't too far from each other. He just went and got her, and that was the relationship. And they went on about their life. They just made things work, right? But oftentimes when it comes to like the different issues or things that may transpire in a relationship, you always see people going outside of their relationship or outside of God trying to solve the relationship, right? They're often always going to extra parties to say, hey, how can I fix this? How can I resolve this? Instead of just taking it directly to their spouse and figuring things out, right? Making things work. And even when Abraham took his issue to God concerning Sarai, God turned him right back to his wife and said, listen to your wife. And I think society has made it so much so to where one, they want all of us to be similar, right? We're slowly breaking away from that and people are embracing their authenticity. We still have the, little clique mindset strongly going on. That's definitely still strong in society, right? But of course, most things don't break instantaneously. It takes a little time to do so, right? But some people are slowly breaking out from that, or the people who have always just not been with that, right, are speaking up more and more and seeing how toxic that can be, especially when it's used for something negative, right? And so more and more people are getting away from that, okay? The other situation in the word was uh Moses. And what I like about Moses' relationship example is Moses just so happened to be in the community, and because of the good things that Moses represented, right, or was able to do, the father of his wife basically gave his daughter to Moses, right? There was no, it was just the father saw that he was a solid man and was like, hey, I got a daughter for you. She'll be a good wife. And he gave his daughter to Moses, right? So he saw that Moses was a man that would be good, would be solid, right? His reputation was secure enough for the father to be like, I know you'll take good care of my daughter, right? Or I know that you're a good spouse for my daughter. Then you have the example of Ruth and Boaz. Ruth was out in the field working, right? But Boaz was in a position where there was a woman that was basically literally presented to him. That's how I look at it. When you read the word, everybody has their own different revelations, right? But Boaz literally had a woman basically presented to him at his feet, okay? And he went through the proper order or procedure, right? He knew that there was another man that technically had the what is it called in the stores? We call it first in, first out, where you gotta have, like, if the product has an earlier date, then you have to move that one up to the front first so people will grab it first, right? And it was kind of like that with Ruth and Boaz. Boaz had to make sure that old boy, who would have been first in line to have this woman, didn't want her before he actually made a move on her. But Ruth was literally presented to Boaz in front of him. And so he went through the proper procedure, made sure that he got that first person out the way, and then he acted on taking Ruth's hand as a wife, okay? So then the other example, that I like is Samson and his wife, right? Samson knew what he wanted, and you see that even with Isaac, where he wanted Rebecca, right? He was at his uncle or his cousins, he was at a family member's property, right? And he was like, I really love your daughter. Like, you see men in the Bible, Samson, Isaac, and they see a woman and they just know, right? They're not questioning it. They're not going to somebody else outside of them to help them lock in and decide on whether or not this is the woman for them. It's like they see a woman, and whatever it is, right, they just know that that's their wife and they act on it. And even when I think back to when I was actively dating, right, or mingling, dilly-dallying. It's a guy on Instagram, he funny, but he be talking about the homebodies need to go outside and dilly-dally, right? So when I used to dilly-dally outside, I experienced that as well. There was a guy that I had met, and he was marriage minded. He was ready for marriage. He wanted a wife. And what I love about this man is, and not like love about him like in love, none of that, but what I love about the character of this man is because he knew what he wanted, and I admitted, I was direct with him about, I didn't know if that's what I wanted, right? He moved around so he could find his wife. So basically I was like the boy that would have been the first date to get gone, right? But because I knew that whatever I had going on, I was not yet ready or prepared, he moved out the way so that he could find his wife. And I always love and respect him for that, because he knew what he wanted. I knew that I was not yet ready, but he was a man that was ready. And one of the beautiful things that I love about that is men know when they're ready for a wife. And I think what saddens me so much about society today, especially a lot of the stuff that I see on the internet, right, is that so many people feel like they need to tell women concerning a man's action concerning attraction. I typically don't get into it. I typically don't speak into it because I'm old enough. I've dated a little bit. I've dilly-dallied a little bit, right? I know the difference between a man that wants to play and a man that wants to, like, lay all of that down and actually find a wife. I've experienced both sides. There is an obvious difference, right? And so I typically stay out of all of the back and forth concerning if a man is ready or if a man wants you. I just let people talk, because at the end of the day, there are younger women who do need to learn these things, right? Younger women should not be excited that a man wants to hunch on you, right? Just because a man wants to hunch on you, that's nothing to be deeply excited about, right? You shouldn't feel, I can't tell you how to feel, right? But as a woman, when you get to that space and time where you truly value yourself, right? A man wanting to hunch on you is not the thing that's going to solidify you feeling chosen by that man, right? A man's sexual desire and a woman's sexual desire, depending on the individuals, are two completely different things, right? Depending on the individuals, they're two completely different things. So a man's desire to hunch on things could be stronger, right? They're going to want to do it more often, and sometimes with more women, right? Depending on the woman, right? Because women have their own little thing going on for some women, right? But as a woman, when you really get to that space and place where you truly value yourself, a man wanting to hunch on you or to use you as a prop is not something to get excited about. It's not something to feel chosen about, right? Because a man who is marriage minded, like genuinely marriage minded, they don't waste time. They waste no time. I've experienced it. Marriage minded men do not waste much time. And I think the issue with society today is that so many people have gotten comfortable with, oh, let me go ask my friend. Oh, my friend has to like you first. Or, oh, you have to check all of these boxes with my friends, or all of these different things. And you genuinely do not. Like, in the relationship, it's going to be you and your partner. Yeah, your family and whoever else may be, extras to your relationship, right? They're going to help you with the kids or whatever, however your setup may be, right? They are a part of the relationship, but they are not the immediate individuals within that relationship, right? They help whatever community you build or establish, or whatever family unit, whatever, they help assist that. But at the end of the day, when you go through different things, it's going to be you and your partner that have to sit down and figure those things out. And one of the things that I love about the men in the Bible, when you look at them picking a wife or having a wife, right, is that they were about their wife. They didn't need somebody else to necessarily confirm their feelings or their heart or their desire for a woman, right? And because they had such a strong desire for that woman, they literally locked in only on that woman. You don't see them playing too many games. You see them lock in, and they stay locked in on that woman until they do whatever work they need to do to get that woman, right? There are different examples like Isaac and Rebecca in the Bible, right? Isaac, in order to obtain Rebecca, he had to work those 7 years. It ended up being like 14 because they gave him the sister. He didn't want the sister, but the sister was included in the package deal, right? And so, to me, sometimes it's kind of sad to see that we now live in a society where so many people feel like there's so much confusion in finding a partner. But I think when we really sit down and look at it, it's because I don't think we trust ourselves. And I think society has played a role in that. I think culture has sadly played a role in that, right? When you think about a person that trusts themselves, they don't need 50 other yeses in order for them to be like, okay, this is what I want. They either want the thing and they go after it, or they don't want it. Or they need whatever extra confirmation or validation in order to say, okay, this is what I want. But typically, they just go for what they want because they know that's what they want, right? They don't need everybody else that they're associated with or friends with or business. They don't need all of those extra yeses. They just need their yes. And so, to me, it seems like so many people, and I'm going to say men because men are we got some women that's done flip sides a little bit, but men are typically the ones that bring the proposal for marriage, right? Men control whether or not there's going to be a marriage, right? A woman has to present herself and she has to be marriage minded or willing to be marriage minded. And there are things that that man is going to look for in order for him to feel like, okay, this is a woman who I can see spending my life with, right? But society has made it to where there are so many men now who want to be included in this he-man woman hater club that they got going on, right? And so they trust the opinions of these other men who sometimes deep down don't even want the same thing as they do. And sometimes the difference in what they want is so expansive that they don't realize that their friends will tank their desires just so they don't get the thing that they want. Like, your homeboy could know deep down you a lover boy, and that the girl that you may desire, right, is also a lover girl, or whatever the case may be, and maybe y'all are a good match. But maybe your homeboy benefits from you being an F-boy more than he benefits from you being a lover boy. And so you see all of these men who are grouped together, and now they're telling all the men, you a simp if you love your lady. And I think that's the craziest thing ever, that a group of men could have got together and said you a simp for loving your woman. That, to me, that don't even make sense. And typically I stay out of all of these relationship things because a relationship for me is between me and my partner. That's it. Me and my partner have to be in that relationship. Yeah, of course, we have to socialize with other people depending on how social me and my partner is, right? Maybe I might find someone who is kind of like out the way like me, right? Maybe they cool with not always being around 50, 11 people. Maybe they are more social. Maybe I have to be a little bit more social sometimes, right? I have spurts where I'll be extroverted, but outside of that, I'm good out the way. Like, I promise. Like, what you have been seeing is what it is. I'm good out the way. I'm learning to step and be in the way, but I'm genuinely good out the way. Like, that's genuinely how I am. Like, I like to be out the way. I don't have to be the center of attention, but I realize that, oddly enough, that's part of my call and my purpose, is that I have to embrace the girl's confirmation. I have to embrace being okay with being the center of attention. And for me, that is odd. One, because I feel like I'm already the center of attention, even when I'm not trying to be. And I'm not saying that from a cocky place. I'm saying it from the place of I'm being gang stalked. I'm being watched. I have no privacy, right? So I'm already the center of attention. Every day I wake up, somebody's talking about something new that they seen me do. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're just so amazed at what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm not doing nothing. I genuinely feel like sometimes I'm not doing nothing, but people are so amazed. They're just so amazed. They got something to say about it every day. Every day. Every day. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, and then sometimes when I hear people describe what love is, and then I read the word of God and I see how God uses different scenarios to show his example of his love for us, the two do not align. Like, worldly love and godly love, and how the two are described, they don't always fully align, right? Like, even when we look at the law, I think when we look at the law and you listen to people talk about like the love, the worldly love, or how they want to be loved, or different things like that, I think there are some things in the law and some opinions of people and how they want to be loved in the world. I do think some of those things line up, right? Why? Because when you look at the law, the basis is love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? So basically, treat your partner how you want to be treated. So if you want to be in a relationship, you don't want nobody cheating on you. You don't want nobody putting you in a situation that's going to embarrass you, and then if they turn around and embarrass you, then now you want to open up the floodgates and call the hellhounds, and now you all emotional and you doing all these crazy things. You don't want to do that to people, right? Because it don't feel good when it happens back to you. Right? Right. Right. That's why you got to make sure you got a solid mirror, right? That's what my little thingy was saying. The best mirror is an old friend. Why? Because they have learned you. They know you. They've been around you for a while, and they are able to pinpoint and show you you. And sometimes the you that you experience is not always pleasant because you don't realize sometimes your ways are ugly. And you can't see them until you experience them sometimes. And sometimes you don't experience them until you look in the mirror. But when you also look at the law, right, it talks about not coveting your neighbor's things and different things like that, right? It's basically talking about love me how you want me to love you, right? Focus on me how you want me to focus on you. That's how that is the alignment that I can see with the way people say they want to be loved in the world versus the Bible when it comes to the law, right? Because the law is basically saying, I am your God, love me. And if you love yourself, you're going to love your neighbor like you love yourself. That's why even when it comes to me dealing with people and they may act a certain way towards me or behave in a certain manner, I already know that they're struggling with those areas within themselves, right? One, because God created and established me to be a mirror, right? So how someone treats me 9 out of 10 times is just really a revelation of themselves, and they want me to feel bad about it. But it's like, I know, even though you are physically seeing me, the experience that you are having with me is a reflection of yourself. And that's in all capacities, and it's Bible to back it up. I've spoke on it before. Somebody with a podcast, life coach, whatever, talking about don't try to take advantage of your authority. If you can read, it ain't taking advantage of the authority. It's right there in the word, sir, ma'am, sir. It's in the word. It's not taking advantage of authority. That's what the words say. You just gotta read it. It's right there. So I understand that how people experience me on multiple levels. I was trying to say layers and levers, and it came whatever word that was just about to come out. But one of the other things too is when you look at God's love, I'm hot. When you look at God's love, I'm in here with the windows rolled up like a genius. I always think about the story in the Bible where it talks about God's wife cheating on him. The two sisters, Oholia and I forgot the other one's name, but it was the two O's, and then he also tells that story again in another way, looking at Jerusalem and Judah. But it's the same story, different names. It's slightly different, but not too different, right? But it's the same scenario. And basically it was one of the people was unfaithful. And so the sister saw that her sister was being unfaithful, so she followed suit of the sister, right? She followed the example of the sister. Excuse me. So she went out and was dilly-dallying. Dilly-dallying too much in them streets, okay? And one of the sisters came back and she was fully repentant, right? She was fully repentant and she changed from her ways, and God accepted her back, right? But the other one came back and she was not genuine about returning back to God. She was still low key out in them streets, dilly dallying, doing all this extra stuff, right? She wasn't sincere about returning to God. But what you see is that God still ends up punishing her, right? Because there's also scripture that talks about the unfaithful wife. I believe it's in Proverbs or Psalms. I think it's in Proverbs, but there's scripture that deals with the unfaithful wife. And I always think about that because God loves us enough to understand and understand that we have free will. People are going to do what they want to do. You can't change people, you can't force people change, but I do genuinely believe that if people want to change, they will change and that they can change because they want to change. I genuinely believe that still. You cannot convince me that people don't change if they want to change, right? You can't force somebody, and I know that, but sometimes you can be the inspiration to why somebody wants to change, and sometimes people will be inspired by your life, and whether they tell you or not, they're changing. They're making these different changes. They're desiring a relationship, a deeper relationship with God, or whatever it is could be your thing, right? Maybe you're a dope artist and that person is inspired by the art that you do, and so therefore they now want to put more energy and effort into the art that they create, right? Or that they put out into the world. That's you inspiring somebody, even if it's to change for a good or if it's for you to change for bad, right? We all have influence, and we see that even in society today, right? People understand the weight of their influence. So much so, too, they know that they can use their kids to influence and manipulate the minds of your kids. I think they understand it so much so to the point where they're okay with even putting a dent in their own brand just to influence people in a certain way. Like, people understand the weight and responsibility of their influence. But sometimes when their own evil or wicked desires, and God had me speak on that earlier, right? And talking about the sign of the unmarried prophet. I'm a prophet and I'm unmarried. It sounds crazy every time I say I'm a prophet. I hardly ever say that because I don't do the title stuff. But I'm unwed, right? But the sign of the unmarried prophet talks about how the children were worse than the fathers because they were out here doing all types of things of their own wicked and evil imaginations. We're seeing that more and more today, although we're also seeing more and more people who are desiring to have a relationship with God or desiring to change their ways. We're seeing a good pull on both sides. But people understand the weight of their influence. And sadly, when we continue to look to the world as examples of how we should love or different things like that, sometimes we don't find good examples. The world will tell you, oh, if this person cheats on you, don't never take them back. But God even took back his unfaithful wife that cheated on him with multiple. She was still punished, don't get me wrong. One thing I have read and discovered in that word is God is going to get you. The win is what surprises you, but you're going to get God. The win is always the thing that catches people off guard. You feel like you've been doing all of this stuff and ain't nothing happened yet to you and blah, 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 blah. It's something about that last hour that God loves, and he waits, and that's when he be like, gotcha, you thought I forgot. He ain't forgot. He ain't forgot. You're going to be God. You're going to get God. He going to embrace you afterwards, but you going to get God. A lot of people get comfortable when they feel like, oh, nothing's happened, you ain't did nothing, blah, 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 blah. You ain't watching, you ain't taking note, you don't know what's going on. And as soon as you get comfortable, God be like, surprise! I still love you, though. That's exactly what he do. That's exactly what he do. It's in the word. Them Israelites went through all of that. And they was like, oh, yeah, we got to the promised land. And God was like, yeah, but remember you was complaining the whole time? I ain't forgot. They ain't even get to enjoy it. He waited to that last hour when they got to the promised land and was like, you complained the entire time that I was trying to cover you. You did all of this crazy stuff the entire time I was trying to cover you and protect you and make sure that you were straight. And you thought I forgot. No, I ain't forgot. I ain't forgot. I'm still going to get you, and he still be getting them. But it's something about people getting comfortable and God not always instantly moving to correct us. Some of us, he do, right? Some of us, we don't have the luxury of delayed correction. But even when it's delayed, it's not denied. You're going to get it some way or the other, right? And I think that's one of the things with love that I realize my perspective has changed on a little bit, right? Like reading God's law and learning his word more, and just having the examples of how the men courted or desired wives in the word. And then we look at dating now today, and so many people, they'll know that they like this person, but if their friends don't like the person, they drag their feet or they don't move their feet at all. And it's like your friends are not dating your partner. They're not laying your partner down. They're not making a covenant in that bed with your lady, unless you just wicked and they like to share and stuff, and get in lines for trains and stuff. The wicked people will do that. I don't know. They can tell you better than me, but they admit they wicked. You just got to catch it when they say it on the mic. They'll tell you they wicked. They know they wicked. They know they eat the people too. They'll tell you. But the problem is we hear people sometimes and we don't believe them. Or sometimes you'll feel like just because somebody's not saying something, you feel like, oh, they believe everything you say. They ain't said nothing. They ain't said nothing. They ain't responded to nothing. They just going on about their life. And you're like, oh yeah, they naive or whatever the case may be. Everybody don't have the energy to play games sometimes. Like, and me and the way my mind sometimes work, I would be nervous. I would be nervous if I watched anybody I knew that was playing with somebody and they was knowingly playing games, and that person ain't say nothing, and that person like still, the way my mind comes up with 50 lamb different scenarios to stuff sometimes, I would be very curious to see which one the person picked. Like, would they love that person like God loved his bride, or like, yeah, she still got in trouble, but he still loved her, he still, took her back? Or would they love them like the world loved them, and then they got to do a you on you? And I would just be very curious to see. Or would they just openly and completely just take you back and let everything go? I would be very curious to see what the person picked. Like, if I watched two people go through that, I would be very interested to see. I would want to know. Like, I would want to update. That is something I would be a little bit nosy about. Like, I wouldn't be like on them, like people be on my life or whatever, but I would want to know. Cause what happened? Tell me. Cause I seen what they did. How did it go? Did it work out or did it? But to me, I think that's the difference in relationships. I hope you caught the first half of that because it was pretty plain to me. But I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we get too caught up in what everybody else is saying about the person that we desire, that we want. And then we take action and make moves based off of what everybody else is saying, instead of trusting ourselves, like, this is who I want. And I think that's the issue. It's too many men that are in these groups who are like, oh no, we're gonna treat the women this way and that way. And everybody feel like if one man is doing it, every single man gotta do it. And so now it's kind of like, if this man say bend over and this man bend over, then all the other men gotta line up and bend over too. And then you kind of see the same thing with women sometimes too. Like, oh, we got the city girl mindset, and that's what we running with all 2030. And so if you happen to be the girl that's like, nah, I don't want to be a city girl, or no, I don't want to be a Barbie, or no, I don't want to be a hottie. I've been working on my knees, I ain't lying. Tell the truth and shame the devil. I've been working on my knees. Forgive me, Father Lord. I'm so serious, but unserious. I'm serious. My knees not like Megan. They really not. Woo! Let me tell you something. But they done got better since I've been trying. My knees are stronger now. Okay, but anyway, listen. I think that's the issue. I think that's some of the issue. Like, people are still stuck in the mindset of this is how the relationship had to be. I was so excited and so happy for this couple that I saw on the internet, and they were sharing how they got like negative opinions concerning their relationship because the guy basically knew what he wanted. He went after the girl. It didn't take him long. They ended up getting married. And I think the next thing I saw was 10 years later, because we ignored the opinions of others, we're still together. We need more people to share their stories like that, because so many people feel like, oh, we got to do this and do that. And from my experience, a man that's ready for marriage, like really, really, really ready for marriage, they not dragging their feet. They're not dragging their feet. That's why when people be like, oh, girl, you got to do this and got to do that concerning a man, it's really not rocket science. The only thing that's rocket science sometimes is other stuff, but it's really not rocket science on whether or not a man really likes you. Like, he's not going to leave space and opportunity for somebody else to get you. And there are examples of that in the word. He's going to do what it takes so he can have you. The only person he really going to talk about is his parents. And that's because he's telling his parents, that's who I want. Like we saw with Samson. Samson didn't let his parents get in his ear. But the thing that did got in the way of Samson's marriage was himself. His attitude, because he lost the bet to his friends, got in the way of him securing his wife. His own attitude cost him his wife. But he basically had her right there. But his own attitude cost him his wife. He saw what he wanted, told his parents, didn't let the opinions of his parents get in the way. He saw, knew, and secured her, and lost her all in the same breath because of his own attitude. Isaac saw what he wanted, knew what he wanted, talked to the parent. He said, bet, this 7 years of work I got to put in for, I'm going to do it because I want her. And he did it, and he got her. He got a little extra, too, that he didn't ask for. But guess what? He still did the work. Even though he had to do double the work. He did it because he knew that he wanted Rebecca. I hope I ain't get them wrong, mixed up. Sometimes I be getting the names jacked up, but I be knowing the foundation of what I'm talking about. He did double the work because he wanted her. He was okay with doing it. He was mad that he got bamboozled with the sister. He didn't want her. But when you read the word and you see God's love for us and the way he covers us and protects us and all of those things, it's not rocket science if a guy is serious about securing you or not. And I think it's sad that we have so many men who feel like, from my perspective, that they can't trust themselves to make a decision about a woman. And I'm saying that because it should not matter if a group of guys that you don't know, if you're truly heterosexual and you're not laying or sleeping with these guys, they should not be able to tell you how you should treat your wife. Like, they should not be able to convince you that loving your wife is being a simp. If you're truly heterosexual. I know some of you are confused about what truly heterosexual is, because just because you are a giver, you feel like you're not in that bisexual category. I'm sorry to tell you. If what you're giving to has the same parts as you, you're bisexual, or some people just simply call it gay. Whatever it may be, whether you're giving or you're a power bottom, shatter them pots. Lord, that petty slipped in there. Oh gosh. Father! It's about time for me to get off the mic. Whoever told me to be, Lord. Be all you can be, okay? Gosh. Okay, I'm trying to be serious. Listen. All I'm saying is, men know. And that's simple. I know some people have told me I look younger than I am, but I am old enough to enter and understand that. A man who is serious and ready is not going to waste time. And a man who is not serious or who's not ready is going to waste time. So I typically don't get into the whole relationship spiel, but I saw that topic and I thought it was interesting because any man can physically look at you and want to lay you down. But there's not many men who's going to want to do the work so they could have you. And I think that says more than some man hunching on you and you being excited about it than a man that's actually going to put in the work because he wants to secure you. So, men, if y'all still got men in your ear trying to tell you that you a simp because you want to love a woman how a woman should be loved, you might be in the wrong group. Or you might need to really, spend some time with yourself and see if it's a man that you really want. And women, if you're getting excited just because a man is hunching on you and that's making you feel chosen, whether it's genuinely how you feel or not, then maybe you're just still in your fun stage, which people go through. So there's nothing, people have to go through what they go through, right? Learn the lessons and, continue to grow. But if you're someone that's marriage minded, when you get to the place and stage where you value yourself, you look at this whole being chosen thing that the world ran with, you look at it a little bit differently. And when you get to that place, you look at it differently in peace, whether you're chosen or not. Because at the end of the day, you choosing yourself and not settling for bull crap will always be the biggest win. Always, especially as a woman. There's too much value that a woman can bring to a man. The favor is you. As a woman, you are the favor factor for that man. So regardless of what his little man group tell you, regardless of, not even tell you, but regardless of what his little man group, the He-Man Woman Haters Club, regardless of what they tell that man about not being a simp, he doesn't get favor unless he does right by you. You are the favor. So when you pull yourself back or you pull your power back from him, the favor comes with you. It leaves him. You are literally the battery in his back. So I think it's kind of sad that we've gotten to the place in society where we feel like there has to be so many repeated messages about if a man likes you or not. And when you read the word, if you are a person of faith and you read your Bible and you see how the men, like the things that they did for a woman, besides that one crazy man who just gave that lady up to, that's crazy, right? Don't even read that story. It ticks me off every time I read it. I get mad. But nonetheless, right? All in God's purpose. It's a crazy story, but once you're able to put the dots together, why it all makes sense. But it's still a crazy, crazy story, right? But men who are serious about you, you'll know. They're not going to use you as a prop. They're going to be serious about you because they value you. And it is a different experience. Like, a serious man is a serious man. And one that's still playing is not serious. So, I think when people all together get back to the space where they can trust themselves when it comes to choosing a partner, or trust that if somebody else is setting you up and you trust that person or whatever the case may be, that you can still make the relationship work. Some of the relationships in the Bible, they didn't know them women before meeting them. It was just like, oh, I have this good woman for you, and they made the relationships work. Moses didn't know that man's daughter before she was given to him. She didn't know Moses. She might have heard of Moses, but she didn't know Moses either. I was talking to God about that the other day. Like, you need to let some of your wives, some of your daughters have a say so before you just approve of them to be wives of people. Like, can the daughters have a say so in some of this? Eve ain't get axed. She just got pulled out of a rib, according to the word. And people, whatever. According to the word, Eve just got pulled out that man's rib and was like, "Here, this your husband." Love is not complicated. I think we as people are just complicated. There are gonna be trials and tribulations, of course, but outside of that, we complicated. You don't need 30 homeboys to tell you a simp if you love your woman correctly. And you don't need a panel of men telling you how to, like, you should trust yourself to know that you can properly treat somebody else's kid. Like, I don't get that. You should trust yourself to know whether or not you are with someone that's going to treat you right. You should trust your instincts enough to know that if you are with someone who is not treating you right, that you are feeling a certain way for a reason. And as a woman, safety for us is such a big thing. Like, safety is the thing we need to even be able to soften with a solid man. And if you don't have emotional safety with that man, you're not going to feel safe. And that's not something that you have to always double check with a friend. Like, that's just something that you should be able to, you should know. You should be able to trust yourself, man or woman. If you're anxious attachment, I know I took a test a while ago. It said I was anxious attachment. I haven't taken one in a long time since then, right? But maybe I'll take another one another day and see if I'm still that way. I ain't dilly dallied in so long. I wouldn't know. Okay, I don't know. I ain't been dilly dallying. I pop outside sometimes, but I ain't been dilly dallying. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I ain't dated, so it ain't like I had time to actually sit down and work on it. My detachment has gotten so good. It's I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But listen, love is not really complicated. If you treat yourself good, that means you can treat your partner good. Right? Because you're going to love your neighbor like you love yourself, even though your partner's not your neighbor. But you're going to love them like you love yourself. If you know how to treat yourself good, you should be able to know how to treat your partner good. If you know how you like to be treated, even if you were put in a position to where someone mistreated you, right? You know how you want to feel when treated correctly. You should be able to give that to your partner. They're literally your mirror. They're literally going to be the voice of reason when you need it. You should be able to treat your partner how you want to be treated. If you want to be gassed up, you need to gas up your partner. Why? Because then your partner's going to be like, oh, this person gassed me up all the time. They must like this. Oh, this person does X, Y, Z. Maybe they like this. And sometimes it's not always like that, right? Maybe they just do it because they know you like it. I know sometimes if there's something that I know someone that I'm dating likes, and I know it makes them feel good, but it might not be something that I like, of course I'm going to want my partner to feel good. So you're going to do things sometimes that maybe you don't necessarily like it, but you know your partner does, within reason, of course. But I thought that was an interesting topic. You just know when someone likes you. You can't explain it. But how the world wants us to love versus how God loves and how God gives us grace, they're not always the same thing. In some aspects, yes, but they're not always 100% the same thing. God will take you back if you cheat on him. And many of us do. And I said many of us. God will take you back. You still gonna get in trouble, but he's gonna take you back because he loves you and because he wants you to come home. He wants you to be in the pasture. He wants you to be a part of the sheepfold. He don't want you to be outside lost. He wants you to come home. He wants to love on you. He wants to give you good things. He wants to make sure that you have everything that you need. Even when it looks like you don't. He wants to cover you and keep you and protect you and provide for you and have a safe home for you, a safe space for you. That's God. He wants you to know that you're loved. He doesn't want you to wonder if you're loved. He wants you to know that you're loved. So much so that he threw a party for the prodigal son when he came home. The brother was mad, right? Why you throw a party for me? You been here this whole time. Why wouldn't you celebrate your brother coming home? His brother was upset. I got some family like that. They be upset for no reason. I don't even tell you why they mad. They just mad. They just be mad. they just be mad. They pretend like they're not, but it's evident they be mad. Woo! I don't know what I did last night, but boy. It's been a good day today, okay? All I'm saying is, you'll know. You'll know. And so, I think we as a people just have to get back to the space where we can trust ourselves. We can trust ourselves to choose well. And we can trust ourselves to know when we haven't and move on without it having to be craziness. Okay? It shouldn't be craziness just because people decide they're going a different direction or something. It don't have to be all of that. Unfortunately for me, I'm still trying to get the crazies to go away. Woo, man. Too many years. Like, I got on a whole end, but too many years. I'm still trying to get them to go away. But, love is a beautiful thing. I still believe in it. I hope a lot of y'all do. I saw a report earlier and it was talking about how for black people, the marriage rate has went up, was it 20% or 40%? But it was the first time in like a long time that it went up. I was very excited about that. That means we're doing good work. Okay, we're rising. I was excited about that. There are still a lot of people that's saying, they're not going to wed, and that's in the Bible as well. It talks about a lot of women went and wed in the last days and all these different things. We're seeing that. Okay, so it's written. It was already written. But there are some people who still desire marriage. And I think it's a beautiful thing that they're finding their partners, and I hope and pray that they are able to maintain and keep their relationships, and they are healthy and they multiply and all of those good, beautiful things. But I think we just have to get back to the place of trusting ourselves and trusting even in our desires, even if they don't make sense sometimes. Because how did Samson just see somebody and be like, I want her as a wife? How did Isaac see somebody and was just like, I just want her as a wife? But they trusted their desires and they went after the woman that they wanted. Isaac had to do double the work, but he did it and he got his wife. Samson, attitude got in the way. Abraham was just trying to please his wife. He ended up with an extra partner and extra kids. But God told him, just listen to your wife. Moses, he was off running, trying to stay hidden from Pharaoh. He ended up with a wife. But it was because her father saw that Moses was a solid person. And he was like, you know what, I got a wife for you. Boaz was just working, doing his business. And Ruth was basically just like, boom, here I am. Here I go. Uh-oh. Oh, Lord. Y'all, when people be listen, when I tell you I be laughing, I be having a good time with myself. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know what I'm gonna do when and if I get a spouse. I really don't know because I feel like the process was cheated because my spouse was not supposed to see all of this. Well, I opened up in layers, and now I feel like these geniuses that wasn't geniuses, they opened up. Oh, Father God, this doesn't come out but in layers, and now I've been forced for it. It's just out in the open now, and I feel I'm mad about it because my spouse think he gonna meet me and I'm gonna be this way immediately, and I'm not. I'm really not. I gotta look at you for a little bit and figure out what's going on here. So I might be quiet. I might not say nothing, and I talk, but I gotta figure out who you is first. And I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say too much or nothing. I'm gonna just look. I'm gonna just watch you. Then you're gonna be like, I know, I know, I know. But it didn't work like that. So that was something that I was thinking about too. But I'm starting to ramble now, and this video ended up being an hour, which is interesting because I just been talking to myself. That's what it feels like, even though I know I'm talking to y'all. But I'm gonna talk to y'all for an hour about love and how it's easy and how men who are marriage minded don't waste time. They make moves. And I talked about how Isaac knew what he wanted, but he had to work double just to get it. I talked about Samson's attitude getting in the way of what he wanted, but he knew and he went after it. I talked about Abraham and Sarai and Hagar, and how Hagar got in the picture, and how God told him to listen to his wife. It's a lady over here just staring at me. I'm telling you, people do weird stuff. Like, she's supposed to be walking her dog. She's looking at me in the car. Then it was who was I say? Moses. He just happened to be in a certain space, and the father that lady knew that he was a solid man. He saw the character of Moses, and he was like, "I got a daughter for you." I think that's something else men should take heed to sometimes. Like, could you imagine God looking at you and being like, "I got a daughter for you," and you jack it up? I think that's one of the most beautiful things that a man should be able to reflect on and realize that if God gives you one of his daughters, that there was something in you that God felt like was worthy. Not your homeboys, God. God looked at you and said, "I got a daughter for you." For a father in the Bible to give his daughter to a man, he had to be about something. So if you encounter a woman and God don't play about her, and God is like, "Yeah, I want my daughter to be with you," or "I'm going to put my daughter in front of you because he who finds a wife," like, I don't even want you to go all out here looking. Like, I'm going to just put her right there in front of you. And God does that for you. That means God has been watching you enough to feel like you were worthy of his daughter. For a man to see another man and tell that man he got a daughter, I think that's one of the biggest compliments another man could give a man. And I'm not a man, so me and y'all can speak on that. I don't know. But for a man that's a good father, first of all, because we know some of these daddies ain't so good. They in them vows and stuff. For a man to give his daughter to you, and he's a good father, not a just a wealthy father, like he's a good father, that says a lot. So men, if there's a person that y'all see and you just know that's your wife, or that's the wife that you want, and you dragging your feet, and it's not for no valid reason, I don't think you're serious about that lady. If it's for a valid reason, that's something else. Definitely don't rush. Do what you need to do. But I think it's kind of sad that so many men allow these he-man, woman hater club groups to try and navigate how another man decides to love the woman that he has to spend his life with. Like, they want you to treat your woman subpar because they don't want you to ever grow up and be a man. They want you to stay in that boy mindset that's easily to manipulate, easy to control. They don't want you to be a man who is capable of thinking for himself. And I think that's some of the saddest things to witness. On either side, really. You should be capable to think for yourself. It should not take a group of people to convince you to treat someone a certain way. And you to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense because everybody else doing it. That's stupid. And from my perspective, that's stupid. Someone should not be able to convince you to jump off a building and you jump. Someone should not be able to convince you that you should jump off the building because Bob jumped off the building first. And so now it's your turn to jump. Someone should not be able to convince you that you shouldn't snitch on the pedophiles just because they got money. Someone should not be able to convince you, I need you to snatch these girls and boys and women just because they got money. Someone should not be able to convince you to go follow that girl around town just because they do voodoo. All I'm saying is your mind should be solid because your spirit and your integrity should be too. And love is only complicated because we make it complicated. So men, if there's a woman and you like her and you're not scared of rejection, because I know a lot of people deal with that, you're not scared to be told no. And I'm going to use that example. When I told old boy I didn't know if I was ready, he didn't take me saying that as he hated me. He just took it as, okay, I got to find someone that is. And he did just that. Was married quick too. Wasted no time. He did just that. He just moved right on along with his life and got what he wanted. But so many people, I don't even say just men, so many people look at rejection like it's the end of the world. Like your whole world is just shattered because somebody said no. And it shouldn't be that way. It is, but it shouldn't be like that. Just because you get to know today don't mean you're going to get to know tomorrow. Just because she said no today don't mean the next girl going to say no. It just means that she said no, which means that she made space for the right one to come along so you can get what you desire. If you're not able to pivot just because someone you may desire or may want does not want you back, if you're not able to bounce back from that and be like, okay, God, that means somebody else for me, right? Or it means there's more work you got to do. And you have to decide if you're going to be like Isaac and do the work or not. If that's who you really want. But too many people don't trust themselves and they listen to their friends or they listen to these podcasts that are literally trying to convince men that it's a simp to love a woman. And that's honestly the most beautiful thing you can do. That's the main thing that's going to maximize your life, especially as a man. Your life is better in so many, confirmation, so many different ways because of a woman, especially if she's a good woman. Even your life expectancy is different because of a woman. A good one, a toxic one, a toxiana. Gonna bring you probably, you'll have many, many problems, my friend. If you get with a toxiana, you're gonna have many, many problems. And you're gonna have to deal with them because that's what you chose. So I don't know what to tell you, but trust yourself and make the move if you're not scared. Because what's holding you back for real? Unless you done agreed to them 7 years, what's holding you back? I be seeing so many men telling us, oh, they like this and they like that. They be doing their little cute little Instagram things. Let me ramble, y'all. Y'all don't get me rambling too much recorded. So let me ramble, okay? I be seeing the little cute things though online, and the guys be talking about like different qualities that they'll see, I guess, in some girl they might like. I don't know. And they posting about it as cute or whatever. But why y'all never be saying nothing to the girl? Why y'all be using women as like y'all muses, but then y'all don't say nothing to the girl? Y'all think she gonna bite you or something? Or what is it? Y'all think she gonna bite? She might bite. It just depends on what you do. She might bite you. I don't know. But you'll never know either if you never say nothing to the girl. And girls, I ain't gonna say don't shoot your shot, but I ain't shot mine since last time I shot, and I collected a D. not physically on me, but the person in the he didn't start off that way, but boy was he a jack in the box. So be careful with shooting your shot, right? I need to call that. I wish I did still have Buddy number. I would call and tell him about himself. Set me up. Oh, you should shoot your shot. I think you can pull anybody you want. The setup of my life. I'm trying to tell you. Setup of my life. Ladies, don't shoot your shot. It being set up. So don't do it. I was gonna say shoot your shot, have fun. Maybe you got a better shot than me because I ain't shooting my shot. I'm not. I might like stuff that you do, stuff like that, but I ain't saying nothing to you either. But I'm a girl, so guys, if y'all like somebody, don't be scared. Say something to the girl. How else would she know? And don't be mad about rejection. So what? If one thing isn't it, that means there's something better that's gonna come along. It's not that serious. Not to me on that anyway. But I rambled enough. I'm getting a little sleepy, more so a little thirsty. Okay. This garlic water, I've been drinking garlic water, y'all. I put a date in here too because who about to eat just, I mean, no. The garlic is loud. Yeah, I gotta pour it out and start over. Anywho. Alright, y'all, that's my talk. But if you a man and you really a little boy and you on those he-man, woman-hater groups, you gotta get out of there. You're not gonna have no success. And you're gonna have the people in your ear influencing you to do crazy stuff, and then you're gonna end up losing the girl that you really like or the lady that you really like, and then the only person you're gonna be able to be mad at is yourself. So don't be in the he-man, woman-hater clubs. Get out of them. And if you like somebody, tell that somebody. They might like you back. And if you know you toxic or toxiana, leave people kids alone. Leave people kids alone. If you know you wicked and you eat people and stuff, you need to tell people that in advance too, because that's curses you got on you, and the people need to know. Okay, because you trying to bring that into them, into they. You need to tell people that, okay? If you eat people and stuff, you need to tell people that and be honest about it. Y'all be want to be wicked and cute, and it's not cute. It don't matter how you dress it up. Y'all be want to be wicked and cute. You want to do all that stuff to the babies and everything. You still want to be worshiped and celebrated for doing wicked stuff, and then being proud, talking about it's a wicked industry. That's why you can't run and jump to be in every club, because some stuff, the higher you go in the club, the darker it get. And you'll never know, because you think just because it's shiny, it's fun and stuff, and it's dark. It's dark. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's why you be needing the extra glitter and the razzle dazzle and them feathers and stuff, because it's dark. Mm-mm. You can't rush to join every club now. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. No. 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 Mm-mm. You be looking like 3 different people in 1 year. Don't do it. Don't do it. Mm-mm. Let God's light shine through you. Okay. Let God's light shine through you. Don't be rushing to join these clubs. They eating people, and they proudly wicked. Don't do it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But anywho, I'm gonna get another squiggle, squabble, swallow. I did it on purpose. I'm gonna get another swallow of this, and then I'm gonna give me some juice, and then I'm going to bed. But love is easy, and when a man is like serious, you'll know. And when I mean serious, I mean like lock you down, and like nobody else can have you serious. That's what I mean. And I don't mean just like trying to use you serious. I mean he wants to like equally exchange with you. And so I'm hoping that you find someone that you can speak multiple languages with, not just body language. And I hope that who you find is able to love you like they love themselves. And hopefully you find a person who has a healthy relationship with how they love themselves, because then they can love you properly. But even if they don't have it fully, I hope you have the capacity to help them get to that space so you can love each other better together. Okay. I hope you have the patience, the long suffering, and the joy and all the good fruits that you can add to each other's baskets so you can help each other kill the beasts that you need to kill so you can enjoy the feast that God's going to prepare for you and your household. And that's what I hope for y'all, especially all y'all that want love. Like, I hope y'all find someone like that just makes you smile, that covers you, that does little things that you can appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that for you. So I think love is beautiful, and that it doesn't have to be toxic or crazy or, embarrass you or nothing like that. It don't have to do none of those things. It just loves you. So if you're looking for love, I hope you find that. And congratulations to everybody that already has it. For those of you that are still waiting, continue waiting and go dilly dally like that guy be saying. He said go outside and dilly dally. They don't be dilly dallying when I be dilly dallying. So I don't know if I'm fully ready yet, but I'm getting closer to it, right? I be saying I want a relationship, but then I be like, But I'm getting closer to being really ready. Like I'm every day I get a little bit closer. Day by day I get a little closer. Day after day. Woo! Listen. Listen, y'all gotta leave people alone when they be minding their business and they just be chilling, because then y'all be pulling them out of like spaces and places where they was chilling and minding their business, and now they gotta go back. And sometimes it's hard. Y'all know y'all take certain stuff out the box and then it's hard to get it back in the box. You just gotta leave people alone. Just leave people alone, dang it. But woo! I'm going to bed. I think I done missed the cutoff to go grab the thing I needed, but I'm glad I got to talk to y'all. Hopefully y'all I know y'all listen because y'all nosy. Y'all know y'all nosy too. It's okay. It's okay. I'm glad somebody be paying attention to me. Leave people alone, okay? Let people be their quiet, chill, unproblematic selves, okay? Please. It's hot outside. Some people don't know how to be cool once you get them started. So leave people alone, okay? Leave them alone. And just either love people or leave them alone. I think that's pretty simple and straightforward, and most of us should be able to do that. Love them people or leave them people alone. But I love y'all later, and thanks for listening to me if you made it through this whole hour and 18, almost 19 minutes. I know it's backed up, but hopefully this garlic is going to clear it up. I need to actually make some of my tea. And I'm going to lay my body down. I will not sing the rest of that song that came to mind, but I'm going to lay my body down. And I hope y'all have a great night, and I'll catch y'all a different day. Okay? Love y'all. Deuces.